Welcome back to now Season 2 of Behind the Badge. I'm Trent Ferris, Public Information Officer here at the York County Sheriff's Office and also your host. We appreciate you listening and learning a little bit about the ins and outs of the York County Sheriff's Office and all about the hardworking men and women who serve our citizens each and every day. Do us a favor, go check out our website, yorkcountysheriff.com, where you can keep up to date with what's going on here at the Sheriff's Office, news, events, crime prevention information, a whole plethora of different kind of stuff. And also go check us out on our social media pages. That's where you can get the information, the breaking news first from us, the factual information from our social media pages first. And that's all to effectively get you the right information at the right time so you can make right and informed decisions. So we've put the podcast on hiatus for the last couple of months for yours truly. It's been a long process. Back in January, it started a process of becoming a Class 1 officer. And doing that, it took about 8 weeks here to do training, 8 weeks at South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy, do some training. And then after that, I had to go learn some more, Sheriff. I had to go finish up my Master of Public Information Officer program through the Department of Homeland Security.
What have you been doing, Trent?
I don't know, man. Life goals.
All right, I hear you.
Life
Congratulations.
Goals. Well, thank you. And then, so I said, you know what? It's about time to get the podcast back up
There
and
we
running.
go.
And doing that, I said, well, I can't just bring anybody on for the first podcast of getting back. I had to bring the boss in.
Yeah. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth, yeah.
You scraped the bottom of the barrel. Nobody else said yes.
Well, you were the only person that said yes so far. I've got people lined up, but people are probably not going to come and do this because we're now on video, if you notice.
Right, a video podcast.
Yeah.
So didn't we start podcast because people couldn't watch video? They had to hear it.
And it's become a thing.
Okay.
And I think
I'll go with it.
You listen to it on the podcasting services, and then for some of these,
if you want to watch it, you can watch it,
and you can pay for it. But
Aren't
we're
we
not going to charge anybody.
Aren't we just spoiled?
Apparently so.
All right.
So, well, anyway, Sheriff Kevin Tolson, Sheriff of York County. The day of the recording this, we just had the midterm elections. We're doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Catch us up. Where have we been for the last couple of months? How are things going?
Man. Managing the chaos, trying to keep people safe, trying to keep Charlotte crime in Charlotte, not in Fort Mill.
Right.
31 years in this, and a day of a car chase and, maybe shots fired call is not a big deal.
Right.
Not that big of a deal, as long as everybody's safe. But to the average citizen, I have to always remind myself, when we're in this business, we're used to emergencies and chaos and things that aren't going right. But to the average citizen, it's not. So, wow, we've we'll talk about this later, but we had a huge fentanyl bust.
Yep.
Took a lot of dangerous drugs off the street.
Mm-hmm.
We've had several car chases from Charlotte bad guys coming down here. We like to send a message: don't come down here.
Yeah.
You'll get chased. You'll get caught. You'll go away.
I think that's there used to be a sign at the state line.
There used to be a sign, and the word used to be, don't go to South Carolina because, you won't come back.
Right.
And we'd like to keep it that way.
So, well, good. Well, we talked about it just a little bit, but before we get into that, let's talk about last time we had you on the podcast. You had, we recorded it for our Crime to Court program, and then we also put it here on the podcast about the medical marijuana bill that was in the State House. You even brought Sheriff Lamb from all the way out in Arizona, Pino County, Arizona, Chief Mark Keel from SLED, because it was a big deal. I mean,
because it was a push. It was a battle on both sides.
Right.
And ultimately, it failed. It failed on a technicality, not necessarily the will of the legislature.
Yeah.
There was a lot of momentum, and it failed on a technicality.
But it failed.
But it failed. And Tommy Pope basically was the ultimate judge of that technicality, being the Speaker Pro Tem. He was put in that position and followed the law, which is what we do. And the push will be back.
Of course, I was going to ask that. Is it going to come back again?
Yes, it's not. It's going to be a never-ending battle.
No.
And ultimately, I hate to say this, we may quote unquote lose, but I will be part of the fight until we do that.
Yeah.
All we can do is go to other parts of the country and that have taken the path that South Carolina is wanting to go down. Some of South Carolina, not all, and tell the stories of what was it like before, and what's it like now. There's not a community, there's not an agency head that I have spoken to that has said, "Man, this was a good thing."
Yeah.
And I will continue to be that herald to warn folks. And I catch criticism. Oh, the sky's falling. It's not going to be that bad. It's not this. It's not that. And then you hear the alcohol issue. Well, alcohol does more damage than. Why legalize another substance
going to cause trouble?
And here's my point. I'll get behind it if it is studied and tested and experimented and approved by the FDA like every other medicine.
Right.
I'll get behind it if that happens. If the medical community can say this is for this purpose, under these circumstances, under these regulations, and under these restrictions, this is a good thing. I'm all for it.
Yeah, because I guess out in other states that have it, they're dispensaries and not pharmacists.
They're not pharmacists
that are delving out this stuff.
Right.
It's
People
who want to have like their own backyard farms and sell it on in a dispensary or so. So yeah.
So anyway, I don't mean to beat a dead horse.
No, but it's.
I have a lot of critics about that, about my position on that, but
we get those on our Facebook page and stuff too.
I know. I still love you.
Yeah, no. But I mean, if you think
I
about it,
will still keep you safe. How about that?
That's right. So
I may not love you,
but I mean, you can argue about people talk about marijuana's not a gateway drug. It is a gateway drug, but it also it leads up to the next topic, fentanyl. We had that big bust a couple of weeks ago where we had enough fentanyl in the county to kill everybody in the county. If not,
there's enough fentanyl in this building, in our evidence room, to kill the entire population of York County at probably twice.
Twice, yeah.
Given that big bust, think about what the little busts that we've had that add up. And I use that seizure as a platform to urge our lawmakers to pass a trafficking fentanyl law.
Right.
So the people responsible for manufacturing that amount of fentanyl face the same penalties as a person that I catch or you catch or a police officer catches with 10 pills in their pocket.
Right, because right now it's just like a possession with intent to distribute charge. Right?
Yes, 15 years.
That's it.
0 to 15. 15 pills can kill 15 people.
Yep.
150,000 pills can kill 150,000 people.
Right. And one pill, one kill. That's
sort of the rule of thumb in the fentanyl world. So, Tommy Pope, our representative here in York County, Speaker Pro Tem, he is fighting hard to push a bill that has teeth to it, and the resistance is some in the legislature do not like mandatory minimum sentences.
right. I was going to ask about that.
Well, if you don't have, and I'll simplify this because I'm a simple minded person.
For all of our folks.
If I'm a child and I know that all I'm going to do is get a stern talking to if I put my hand in the cookie jar.
Right.
Why am I not going to put my hand in the cookie jar?
You're just going to go back and get the.
If I'm a dope dealer and I know if I sell 10 pills, I might face 5 years.
Right.
But I certainly know if I sell 1,000 pills, if I'm caught, I'm going to jail for 10 years.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah. Right. No discretion. 10 years. I just think that would deter people from selling large amounts. We want to deter from selling all amounts.
Yeah.
And so that's the resistance about a trafficking fentanyl law is there are minimum mandatories built in every other trafficking law.
Right.
Why don't we mirror those laws with fentanyl, the drug that's killing people more than any other drug right now in this country?
And we saw it in the news conference where we had like a bucket of fentanyl mixed with the binder powder that they put in these machines, and they had seven different machines that just pump out these pills. And not every pill has the same amount. One may have a
They're
little
not.
less,
They're
some may
not.
have more.
This is not a
A pharmacy.
Roche lab.
Yeah.
These are lay persons making these pills, and so the mixtures are not even.
Right.
And when the mixtures aren't even, you get one pill with 1 grain. All right, let me simplify it again. Let's say 100 grains, right?
Yeah.
You get one pill with 1 grain, you get another pill with 99 grains.
Right.
And that is the difference between life and death.
And what they say was like 2 milligrams is enough to kill you. And I think we had
2 micrograms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had 36,000
I can't remember.
grams.
Yeah.
Grams.
Yeah.
And you break it down,
nuts.
it's enough to kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that might be your battle this year with the legislature.
Yeah, and of course we'll still be fighting it. We'll still be trying to get it off the streets. People are dying every day in this country. 80, almost 90 overdose deaths this year in York County. We're working
90
on
too many.
Yeah, we're working on 1.5 a week.
Yeah.
And I hear from these parents. I hear from these family members.
Yeah.
And I use this platform to say I'm doing all I can. I mean, we're catching people. We're putting them in jail. We're trying to hold them accountable. We're not going to arrest our way out of any issue. I mean, everything's a multifaceted issue, but certainly we are a tool to try to prevent other deaths and other folks having to deal with these tragedies.
And our DEU has been, I mean, they made that bust. That was over a year investigation, and they're always working to try to find these people who are just, 1, selling the pills, 2, manufacturing the pills, and then eventually where all the fentanyl comes from. We had Senator Lindsey Graham come. He says it comes straight from China to Mexico, across the border to here. Right. So, I mean, it's not just a local problem; it's a nationwide problem.
Right, and I use the analogy: if that was a virus, if that was the new coronavirus, that could potentially kill every person in York County, our response would be, I ain't gonna say it, huge,
large.
It would be overwhelming.
Yeah,
our response would be, but yet for some reason, it's not with this drug.
Yeah,
massive. That's what I wanted to say.
Massive. It's massive. Whatever. Yeah. We won't get into that. I'm not a big fan of the word massive. But if you watch any of the hurricane coverage from a couple of weeks ago,
well, get ready.
Everything was massive.
It's coming back.
Yeah, Hurricane Nicole's on their way to Florida. So, let's switch gears. CN2 came by a couple of weeks ago, did a story. CN2 News, our local news outlet. Renee O'Neill did a story on mental health transports. And that's another thing you're trying to get the program here in York County to help us with that, because right now we have to take somebody for a mental health evaluation that's a deputy taken off the road to go to wherever.
Well, right, not right now.
Well,
previously,
right.
Prior to several months ago.
Right. So talk about that. So that's a new thing.
Mental health is a whole nother
podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
I get old Robert White in here and talk about that.
Maybe we'll get Robert White in here.
Yeah.
Talk about NAMI and by the way, he's doing some great things with NAMI, and he's really wanting to integrate law enforcement and provide us some crisis intervention training and those kinds of things. We're working hand in hand with NAMI to do that. But prior to several months ago, if you had I'll use worst case scenario. If you had a child who was in mental crisis, meltdown, whatever you want to call it, breakdown, meltdown, mental crisis, bottomed out, and you decided to take that child to the hospital, and the doctor evaluated that child and decided, well, our level of care for your mental situation is not the level of care you need, and I'm going to order you to be evaluated and possibly treated at another institution that specializes in this. The doctor would sign that order, and Piedmont would call us and say, we got one that needs to go to Conway or Charleston or Greer. We love it when we hear Rebound in Lancaster because it's close by.
Right, it's right across the border.
So we go show up, and regardless of the age of the child, we would put that child in the back of a police car without the parent, transport that child across the state, or adult. It doesn't. I mean, I use child because that's that's just to me the worst case scenario. You're separating the child from the parent. They're in mental crisis. They're in an environment that they're certainly not familiar with, and they're being put in the back of a police car. Why am I being put in the back of a police car when I'm asking for help?
Yeah, and haven't really committed any crime. And if you haven't been in the back of a police car, it's not comfortable.
And we did that to a 9-year-old, and that's what really prompted this. But we didn't put that child in the back of a marked patrol car. We sent a deputy home. That deputy put on plain clothes. That deputy got his supervisor's unmarked car, so it didn't look so much like a police car. And the parent rode in the back seat.
Yeah.
While we took that child, that 9-year-old, to Conway. And I told that story to a group of legislators a couple of years ago, and it caught Gary Simmel's ear. And Gary was on Ways and Means Committee.
Yep.
Very powerful committee that decides where the money goes in South Carolina, and he got $1 million put in a proviso to start a pilot project. So now we have outsourced with a private company who are not police officers. They're civilians. They're civilian vehicles. They're trained, and the vehicles are specially equipped to keep that patient safe.
Right.
And they handle the transports across from York County to across the state wherever they need to go.
And we're one of the pilot programs.
We are part of the pilot program. Okay. So rarely are we now transporting people in police cars. We are now transporting people in police cars that may need to be transported in police cars. They're combative, they're violent, they're danger, constant danger to themselves. Unfortunately, the proviso did not include juveniles, and I'm going to work with Tommy Pope because Gary's no longer in the legislature to not only take it out of the proviso and budget it statewide, but also include juveniles. Yeah. Because to me, that was the impetus of this, and that is who you most do not want to put in the back of a police car.
Yeah.
An adult can recover from that. A child may never.
Just that memory that
Just that memory. I wanted help, and I got thrown in the back of a police car. Yeah. So, anyway, that's a good thing. I'll chalk that up as one of my achievements.
Yeah. There you go. And then we'll get Robert White with NAMI in here to talk about it because it's an issue. Mental health is a big thing, and because people are having mental health crises all the time, and so they need help. So we'll get Robert White on here. If you don't know who Robert White is, he's a great guy. We'll get him in here.
Don't give him that much credit.
Oh yeah,
he might be doing a great job, but his character we'll discuss later.
So let's jump to another complete different topic. It's we're hiring, always hiring. We need people, especially in our detention facility. Next couple of weeks, we're going to have a new way of helping folks learn more about becoming a detention officer, and that's to come tour the facility. Come figure out if that's something you want to do, and that's different.
See it live and in person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I guess people think that they see detention facilities from TV, your TV dramas, and you go in there and it's like the old TV show Oz or the movie Shawshank Redemption.
Dark and dungy.
And the
desolate
and
all the D's.
And your detention officers are the bad guys who are out there just beating people every day. That is not the case.
Our detention officers are helpers.
Right.
They are lay psychologists. They really are. You want to talk about de-escalation in this country? That's a big hot button topic word.
Yeah. They're
correctional officers know how to de-escalate. You think about it. 25 people on a shift, right? There's 500 inmates in our facility right now.
Give or take.
Right. 25 detention officers on a shift. What's the ratio? 1 to 20. Right? That's just not taking into account the 6 or 7 that have to run the booking area.
Right. And all the other people.
So now you got 20. per 500. How do you keep order? You don't keep order with those numbers by force.
Your brain and your mouth.
Your brain, your mouth, and your heart.
Your heart, yeah.
And occasionally you have to use force, but but that's not instigated by us. That's a reaction on our part.
Sure.
And so they know how to talk. They know how to de-escalate. Mm-hmm. I get weekly emails of documented, electronically sent compliments from the inmate population about the staff.
Yeah.
I want to thank Officer so-and-so. He's firm, but he's fair.
Yeah.
I want to thank Officer so-and-so. She took time to listen to my issue and dealt with it. I want to thank Officer so-and-so reaching out to my family and passing this along, or just, it's not rainbows and unicorns.
I mean, it is what it is.
It's a detention facility. There are people in there who do not want to be in there, and there are people in there who have issues, and there are criminals in there, and there are some evil people in there. But by and large, our staff does a wonderful job, and it's a job few people want. It's a job few people can do, and I tell them, I can't do your job.
I can't do that.
It's like a teacher. Some people can be teachers and some can't. Some people can be police officers, some can't.
Yeah.
But it is a chance, and this is what I tell our detention officers. There are very few jobs. As a garbage man, can you make a difference in somebody's life every can you pick up?
Yeah.
In detention and in law enforcement, every interaction you have an opportunity to make a difference and help a person. And if you have that calling, don't think about detention officer as a bad job.
Right.
Incarcerating people. Think about it as an opportunity to help people and make an impact in their lives.
I mean, I guess when it boils down to it, you can go get that garbage truck driver job and just go through the mundane rigmarole of every day. Oh, here I go, just doing this one job every day, or you go and do that job.
Punching a card and working in a factory. And I'm not disparaging either occupation. We need all occupations. But detention officer is an opportunity to know that when you come to work every day, it ain't the same old thing.
Right.
There'll always be a challenge. There'll always be an opportunity.
Well, next week we're going to have Chief John Hicks coming to the podcast. We're going to talk more about that and talk about, the type of people we need. And I think we use the slogan, we take good people and make them into great officers. Mm-hmm. And so if you're looking to excel and want to do a very rewarding job, very hard job,
sure,
but in the end, it's very rewarding, we would like to talk to you. And so through that, we're going to have we're having tours, detention tours. So a lot of people may not want to know what's going on.
Might be the only time you get to see the inside of a detention center and not be under arrest.
Right, and then you could see what good work. You could see how nice. I wouldn't say nice, but a clean facility, a well-run facility, and see what these officers do every day. And then you can take the time and think, okay, maybe now I can do that. Maybe now that looks like I want to do that for a career. And so starting November 18th all the way to the end of the year, except for Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, we're not going to do tours. Every Friday, you can come take a tour, see if it's what you want to do. And if you want to be a part of our team, we'd love to have you. So next week we'll talk with John Hicks, our Chief Jail Administrator over there at the detention center, about that and more about who we're looking for and how you can become part of the Sheriff's Office family. So, all right. Anything else? What's 2023 is coming? 2023 is right around the corner, January 1. What's going on next year that you hope to see and beyond?
Oh, we got to do something with salaries. The county is in the middle of a class and compensation study, and we got to be competitive.
Yeah,
countywide, but certainly within law enforcement, we got to be competitive.
I think you and I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. We saw a job advertisement for QT. Where working security at a Quick Trip gas station makes more than your average law enforcement officer in York County and almost the entire state. So How's that going to go? I mean, got
I
to
hope
do a lot of
well.
talking.
I hope well, so we'll see. And I gotta give a shout out to our council. They have always been receptive to any idea that I've had about recruitment and retention.
Mm-hmm.
They've allowed me to raise pay
Mm-hmm.
several times in my tenure, and they haven't batted an eye. They've been very supportive, and it costs money.
Yeah.
Quality law enforcement is going to cost taxpayer money.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear that.
Nobody wants taxes.
I don't like to say it, but it is the reality.
Yeah.
We have to make choices. Do we want, if we're going to have pretty parks, we have to have safe parks. If
Good point.
we want pretty schools, we have to have safe schools.
Mm-hmm.
If we want a pretty community, we have to have a safe community.
Right.
And that takes money. And if you want,
And good people.
and good people,
To pay those good people.
right?
So.
Yeah, I think the money is a barrier. It's not like I said earlier, every problem is multifaceted.
Yeah.
Money's not the solution, the complete solution, but I think money is part of what is driving people away or preventing people who have a calling to do this
Mm-hmm.
to not do it. Comporium is a great employer in this county.
Yeah.
The York Electric Co-op is a great employer. LPL Financial is a great employer. There are a lot of great employers in York County that pay very well. And if you have a calling to do this, but you can make more money doing something else and be safer,
Yeah.
then I think that's part of and we want people to do this job that have the calling for it.
Yeah.
We don't want people in this job that don't care what they make. They want the power.
Right.
They want to put people in jail just for the sake of putting people in jail. We don't want those people.
Nah.
We want the good people who have the calling to want to help their community and keep it safer.
There you
And we
go.
want to be able to pay them justly for it.
And if you are thinking about the calling, we're always looking. We're always hiring. You can go to our website, YorkCountySheriff.com, click on that tab at the bottom, careers, hiring, employment.
Yeah.
Learn about all about
I
it.
hope in my tenure as sheriff that we're on a podcast and you say, we're taking applications. We're waiting on an opening.
Yes.
Come apply with us.
That would be great.
Not we're always hiring.
Because it seems like nowadays, most every week I put something out about, hey, come check us out.
And
We
I'll
go
tell
to
you.
hiring events. We went to the state fair to try to, talk to people.
1992, when I got hired, it took me a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had to die at this office. Somebody had a heart attack and then opened up as a position that I eventually backfilled.
It's sad.
It is very sad, but now we're at,
the complete opposite.
complete opposite. The sheriff used to say, if you don't like it here, I got a stack of applications on my desk this high, and I used to say, wow, that's not a good take.
Yeah.
But boy, I'd like to have it
Yeah.
right now.
And we'll take all, you have to be 21. And like we said at the beginning of the podcast,
But not at detention.
I'm
You know that?
18 now, isn't it?
18 now.
Yeah, I saw that. I was amazed. So if you're 18 years old, you're getting out of school or high school.
You want to make $40,000 a year? A high school
Come on.
education with benefits, health insurance.
And then as earlier you start, the earlier you can retire
There you go.
with full state benefits.
There you go.
So I wish that 18-year-old Trent Ferris would have had.
Think about that. If
Thought about
18-year-old Kevin Tolson had started, man,
Be doing something else or sitting on the beach, one or the other.
that'd be the grouchy guy that blocked off the aisle at Lowe's for the forklift driver.
That'd be me.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, good. Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate you coming by for the podcast.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thanks to all the listeners. Continue to listen in with us, and we hope that we can provide content that keeps you interested and informed.
and open and transparent to show that we are open. We're open book. We like to tell you about everything we do here, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. So hopefully that's what folks are getting, the right information at the right time to make right and informed decisions. That was a thing. That is a thing.
That is a thing.
It's a PIO thing.
There you
I
go.
don't know if you know that or not, but all right, folks. If you're, like we said, if you're a regular listener to the podcast, tell your folks and friends and family and everybody else about the podcast. And if you notice, yeah, we're on video now. This is a new thing. This is going to be a thing because people like to watch video podcasts. It's a thing. So, and if you would like to keep up with us, just go to our website, YorkCountySheriff.com. find out anything you want to know about the sheriff's office, and follow us on our social media page.
Yep, and remind them how they can hear this podcast.
You can listen to it on our Anchor podcast. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of the podcast services out there. Even Google Podcasts, I think. Here. So,
And the video will be where?
on our social media page.
All right,
YouTube
Facebook.
and all of them.
All right.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of them.
All right.
Even I think I might throw it up on LinkedIn.
Wow,
All
that's
right.
crazy.
It is an experiment.
You're getting crazy.
It's crazy. I know it. I'm sorry. I think I've got crazy ideas now that I've got all this education in me. So, all right, Sheriff, we appreciate you.
Okay, thank you, friend.
Thanks for listening and watching to YCSO Behind